Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. We are working on this Williams Lucky 7 pinball machine. And when we last left you, we had fixed the old rotted MPU. We had cleaned up the playfield. We had worked on the power supply, and we had fixed the driver board. And we were just up to the point where we were about to work on the displays, which is everybody's favorite part of the machine pretty much. So we've got the old plasma displays still up and running in it, but they need a little hip. So we're going to give them a little hip in this video. So if you've got a System 3 through System 7 Williams pinball machine, that's 1977 up to about 1980 or 1981, something like that. Hopefully this will help you with your displays if you have any problems. I've got two different master display boards that we're going to check out on a fully functioning MPU that we repaired. So let's get back into it. I'll show you the first display that we have mounted in the game and what it looks like and what we need to do to fix it. All right, the camera is tripping, but let me, if I back up, you can see it better. Look at that. I fixed it with a step. The only one, so player 3 is not working, and the bottom line of the master display is not, the bottom line is not there, the bottom segment on each digit. But 1, 2, and 4 look good. The glass in 3 is probably bad. And then it might have a bad glass on the master display too, which isn't cool. You know, you can't get the glasses right, but we'll see what we can do. So I guess I'll pull the master display, and I've got another one here. Maybe we test the other one in it. Let me swap player 3 and player 4 real quick and just confirm that it's that, so we get that out of the way, and then we'll work on the master display. If you do swap these around, you don't want to do it while the machine is turned on. Turn it off or you will fry stuff. Plus, you got to remember these displays are 200 volts. Ow. Okay, so I have the cable that was running to player 3 now going to player 4 in it. The cable works fine, which means that the master they call this the master display board, and these the slave displays. The master display board is its signal to 1, 2, 3, and 4 is fine. And this is the signal from 4 now running to 3 and nothing. So the only hope we've got is that there's bad solder on the actual display. Probably not. It's probably outgassed. These things, they're plasma, and once they give up the ghost, they are done. But so that confirms that that's what's going on. If you go to swap these on that side, you can't really do that. It's real tempting to just swap the connectors over there because they're closer together. But each one of them's wired different. You wouldn't think it would be, but that's how it is. Each one of those connectors is wired different. Now on this end, they're all the same because all of the displays are the same. But each one of these 4 connectors is wired slightly differently, so they have to be in a certain order. You can tell because there's a keying pin, but there's no plug in the pin, so you can plug them in the wrong spot, but you'll get all kinds of garbage on the display. It won't burn up the display. It'll just it won't look right. Okay. All right. So let's pull this master display, and we'll swap the other master display onto it and see what it's doing. Okay, with the other master display in, all we get is faint lighting on player 4. 1, 2, 3. Well, 3's been out. I'll bet 3 would be faintly lit too. 1, 2, and the master display itself are screwed up. So this one, the only thing wrong with it is the bottom line on each digit will not light up on the master display. So how do you figure out what the problem is? Here are the schematics. It's not really all that complex. It might look complex, but it's really not. It's very simple. The way you fix any of this stuff, and the way you fix anything really, is you divide and conquer. Okay. So, player 1 works fine, right? Here, I'll show you how to do it. This is obviously beginner level, because that's where I'm at. I'm at beginner level, people. Don't be ashamed to be a beginner. Okay, so here's player 1. Did it work? Sure did. Right? Here's player 2. Did it work? Sure did. Here's player 3. Did it work? The display itself didn't, but once we swapped the cord, yeah, it worked too, right? Here's player 4. Did it work? Yes, it did. Now, technically, we don't know for sure that it worked because all it was showing was zeros, but knock on wood, you know, come on. Come on, people. It's supposed to show the zeros. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Come on now. You can't go into the display test and have it run through and make sure everything's cool, but this is a system 3 or whatever it is. It's such an early game that the test mode isn't all that great, I don't believe. I don't even know if it has a display test in it. So anyway, so the way you figure it out is you divide it up and you find the one thing that's different, like what makes that bottom line different from all of the other stuff that's working fine. So for instance, if you look at this chip here, this chip, the outputs feed all of the digits on player 4. Well, that's all working, right? And then there's a couple here that come down and feed digits on player 3. All that works, so that chip's fine. Same thing here. Some of them feed player 3, some of them feed player 2. All that's working. That chip's fine. We're not going to mess with that. Down here, some of these feed player 2, and then some of them feed player 1. That must be working. So all of this crap, we're not even going to look at anymore. Okay? Then if we come over here, this is the display that's on the board. This is the one we're having a problem with. That bottom line being messed up. Okay? Now if you look, they have 4 lines running in the top, and then there's 2 that say not used. That's because only 4 of these actually get illuminated. So this is the chip that turns on the digits, not the little segments, not each little piece. They just make it where this one is lit up, and this one is lit up. This one is not lit up because it's not connected. This one is lit up, and this one is lit up. Well, all 4 of those are lit up, so that chip must be fine. Okay? And then it gets its signals from back here, so all of these must be fine. Right? So you're just figuring out what is different. So if we look at it specifically, that bottom segment is going to be one of these pins right here. And there are 7 of those. Now sometimes it draws a little map for you so you know which segment is what, and it just tells you. You know, which of the 7 segments is which. Here we go. Segment D. So segment D we have a problem with. Segment selects. It's a 5J5 that runs over to the slave boards. That might help us figure it out on the other one. I guess what's actually more important is the pin number, pin 34. So 5J5 is the edge connector. We don't really care about that. The actual display, these are the pins on the actual display. So pin 34 on the slave display, which will be the same as the glasses are all the same. Pin 34 is the one that goes to segment D. So we have a problem with whatever connects to pin 34. My theory is the glass is bad. So, pin 34, R4 could be messed up, or pin 17 of this chip. Now, here's the problem. Not only does it run that display, but if you look, my camera's plugged in, I can't show you. It also runs player 2 and player 1. So if that chip was a problem, or if that resistor was a problem, then that signal would be messed up going to player 1 and player 2 as well. And we know they're fine. So we are down to the only thing that can be a problem is from this point to there or inside the glass. because that's the only thing unique to that display. The same signals that run player 1 and player 2 run that display. So in other words, we're screwed. We're slonged. I'm never, you know, look, people, I'm not going to change. I mean, if that offends you, you're just going to have to get offended. So hopefully pin 34 has a bad solder joint. Oh, please let it have a bad solder joint. Well, you wait till I figure out which one's pin 34. There's pin 2. What happened to pin 1? Come on, people. Why would you make a pin 2 but... What? Why is there not... Look, they must have not had room for it. Look, there's a trace in the way. There was probably a panicked phone call to to Babcock or whoever made these displays. Hey, we got a problem here, Bob. We don't have room for pin 1. Okay, so pin 2, 3, 4. Come on, people. I'm not going to count them all. I'm going to go to the other end. Why would I do that? So there's what they claim is pin 40. 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34. I don't know, folks. Looks pretty good to me. At least I'm entertained. Okay. Pin 40. Come on, pin 34, be screwed up. 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34. Maybe. I'm saying there's a chance. Hell, I'm going to try to test it with a multimeter. Just for giggles. Now, you could just resolder it, but what fun is that? I want it to tell me that it ain't connected. Boy, there ain't much to work with. So, you know, we checked right here. It looked pretty good. I checked it with the multimeter. It's connected. And we know this is good. And we know this is good. And it goes on. So really we're down to from here to here. But I'm a lucky sometimes. You know that I think about this a lot. I'll just share this since this video is not quite long enough yet. It should be 2 hours instead of 1 hour. That old song, When You Wish Upon a Star, that you learn when you're a little kid, right? There's a line in there that says, like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. Right? So it seems like sometimes in life you get lucky. When you need something to happen, sometimes it happens. So that connector, look at this crap. 38, 36, 34. It goes from there, and then it goes back around. It disappears under the glass, right? So what we're seeing is from here going this way. This is the important area. Where is that? Well, it goes under here. And we'll follow it. Did you lose it yet? I can still see it. It's right there. Then it goes under the edge of the glass. And then it, if you look, there's a trace right in there. See it under these dirty resistors, and then it goes to... What? It goes up to this resistor somebody's replaced. That's not making proper contact on the board. Well, it's not making proper contact on the board. What? So this pin right here is actually right there, right? That's just how they drew it. So it's not making proper contact on the board. Well, how are player 1 and player 2 working then? Oh, look, it's burnt all to hell. It slapped the hell up at some point. and they soldered it back in and did a decent job on the back. So it goes to player 2. And then goes around and goes to player 1. Bad solder in the one place we needed it to be. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. All right, folks. So that has fixed it. The thing is starting itself, though. We still got some issues. But that fixed the display. We're working the displays right now, all right? So we're on player 2 right now. The game's starting on itself or something. Whoop, whoop, see the bottom? Something's tripping. But the display is fixed. I think it was fate, people. I think it was fate. All right, so I'm going to take that one out. We're going to pop the other one in and use a logic probe to figure out what's wrong with it. All right, folks, today's video is sponsored by eWin. Now, you may think, why are you doing a sponsored video? It's because of my brother Joey here. Joe, tell him about how your back hurts, your knee hurts, your leg hurts.
I've got problems.
He's got problems. Joey's lost, somebody in a video previously was saying you lost some weight, Joey.
Yeah. Well, my back's been hurting. I think I pinched my sciatic nerve somehow. But anyway,
we had a chair that he sat in here at the shop, and he felt fine if we had that chair. And then we had a customer come in and break the thing, sitting in it. So the chair fell apart. So we need a new chair, and this company, eWin, got a hold of us and said, hey, would you like to try our chair? And we said, why, we sure would.
Yep, the timing worked
The
out
timing was perfect. And this thing is more heavy duty than the one we had. So we're going to take it out of the box and see if it's any good. This is the one that we got. Look at this. The first thing we notice is it's a lot heavier than the other chairs that we've had. We've been getting, you know, decent office chairs. This one's heavy, which is good. Joey really likes the bottom. Sweet. The back's so heavy I can't even hardly pick it up. Comes with a nice little instruction thing. Joey so far is totally impressed, but we haven't sat in it yet.
It's even got metal screws.
It's like you're building a 1959 Cadillac. Lots of metal.
This looks like quality so far.
Steel and stuff. It's kind of cool they use like hog rings like you use on car upholstery. And it's just heavy duty. There's some strapping down here too. Pretty nicely made. It seems to me it's kind of like it's a decent car seat, like that style of construction, but for a gaming chair. Yeah, we about got it finished here. Looking pretty good, Joe.
I think I'll save these for later.
You were supposed to wear those while you put them on.
It's fine.
While you put it together. All right, show them the drop. Whoop. So the hydraulic thing works pretty good. Okay, abuse it a little bit. That's pretty good. All right, do the lean back. All right.
Oh, Lord. My world about fell out from under me.
Did it scare you?
Yep. Seems to be pretty nice.
We like it. Very cool. All right, so we don't know long term how well it'll work, but let me show you the ones that we were using before. This is what I can't believe. They actually gave us extra hardware. There's one extra of each size screw and an extra cap, and it comes with the 2 Allen wrenches you need. Pretty impressive. Here's the chair that we were using. Now this is what you call, what do they call this, Joe?
It's a tanker chair.
Tanker chair. They used them on like battleships.
Yeah.
Navy had them back in the day. But it's old, folks, and there's no cushion. Then we've got this one. This is just your typical office chair. It's okay, but again, not much cushion. The back can't be adjusted. And then we got this one. It's pretty impressive so far. What do you give it, Joe, so far?
I give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. That's pretty good.
And I don't give nothing a 10.
He don't give nothing a 10, so it was impossible to be a 10. So you might want to check them out. eWin.
I mean, seems nice. I've had trucks with worse seats than this.
He keeps going on and on and on about it. I can't get him to shut up. So your problem is you may have segment problems, or you may have digit problems. Because the stuff is not coming on. So is it because it's not lighting up the number, or is it because it's not lighting up any of the segments? Kind of hard to figure out, right? So I'm going to guess, though, that it's the 6184s, the thing that lights up the digits. That's just going to be my guess. We're going to roll with that. One of the reasons for that is because those chips are cheaper. The other ones are 7180s. Pretty expensive. So we need to figure out, though, if so this isn't lighting up. It's not the glass. We know that because the other board makes them light up. But all of this is on this different board. So if this chip were to be bad, it would make stuff not light up. Now remember, player 4, its digits were blinking very, doing this number. Doing one of these things here. Normally I would think, since they're all out, that it would be something with the power or something. But the power is actually not created here on the board. It just comes in and runs to everything. So I don't think that's it. I think we've got multiple chip failures. So what it could be is that chip is halfway working. This one's bad, and that one's bad. Usually you wouldn't have that many failures. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to test where the lines come in, because over here, it would be really easy for it to just be a couple of these 4069s, because there's only 3 of them. IC1, IC2, and IC3. So we're going to see if the signal coming from the board, the strobe there, makes it through those chips. Because if one of those was bad, or 2 of those were bad or something, it would stop the signal from being able to come over and control these chips. So we're just going to check the output. So if you look at IC1 there, the output is pin 4 and pin 6, and then it appears down here again, pin 2 and pin 10. So 2, 4, 6, and 10. Okay, and then IC2, the outputs are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. The even ones. And then IC3 is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So these are those chips. That's IC1, IC2, IC3. They are 4069s. So we're going to just check and see if those appear to be doing their thing. Here we go. Well, if I can get to it. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8's low, 10, 12's high, 8, 10, oh, I think 8, 10, 12. Okay, we had one low one and one high one, but they weren't all used, so that might have been normal. Okay, so we got signals coming here to the digit chip, I'll call it. These things run on 100 volts, though. So I'm not real too excited about putting my logic probe on the output of that, because I think it's running on 100 volts, I believe. I may be wrong. I guess I can measure it with a multimeter. But we know those are working. I guess we still could have the problem where it's the segments that are the problem. But if you look, like we just saw earlier, this one chip that runs the segments on... No, I'm wrong about that. The segments on 3 and 4. So the segments on 4 were working. They're coming from here. You know what? If this chip were to be bad, you would get no segments on 1, 2, and ball and play, which is the only ones we can see. We're getting this faintly. So maybe I need to check this. Yeah, let me hook it back up. Let me see if I've got pulsing here. All right. Got the Logic Probe out. I tried swapping one of the 6818s. We'll talk about that later. Look at this. Basically, there are no outputs going to the segments, the segment driver. Okay? The inputs are all there except for this. There is a blinking signal that comes in. Now you should be getting a blinking signal here, and then it should invert at IC1, which is a 4069, or I believe that should invert. So I'm going to check the logic table, but basically 12 and 13 match. 13's high and 12's high. Oh, and I should mention, this chip is not populated. It's just that one. This chip is the one that goes there. It's not supposed to be there. So they use one or the other, right? So they're using this one, which is why they need to invert it, the blinking signal. So it's high, the output should be low. But let me look at a truth table just to make sure. I'm pretty sure, but just in case I don't know what I'm talking about. I got a high input and a high output. That ain't right. Hey, Joe, if it's high going in and high going out, that probably ain't right, is it?
You know what that means?
What?
It means it's broke.
Oh, here we go with this again. Oh, come on. So, of course, yeah, it's just an inverter. I know, people. I'm just checking to make sure. So the output 12 pin is the opposite of F, not F, right? So, guess what that means? So if that's not correct, it would turn off this chip and that chip, which is all of the segments on every single display. Now, why are we getting like a limply lighting up fourth one? It's probably just has something to do with like the way the strobe works or something. So they, you know, they flash all of that information in there really quick, and then they turn it on and off, and it's all timed, and blah, blah, and it's going really, really fast. Well, sometimes if you've got a problem with that, or if there's a screwed up capacitor somewhere or something, you'll end up where you get ghosting, where things light up like that one is, where it just barely lights up, or it might even light up on the wrong display or something. It's because the information's not lining up exactly with the timing like it's supposed to. So it's supposed to say like, this says 3500000, and this one says 0000000, and it just keeps going. And then it says they scored a point. This says 350100, and it strobes it through like that really freaking fast. Well, if that starts getting screwed up, you might start seeing weird crap happen, like a little piece of a zero, because it, instead of it lining up exactly when that one's being illuminated or whatever, maybe it's a little early or a little late or whatever, right? So it's a timing thing probably. That's my theory, at least. Now, the reason that I replaced the 16118 is because I checked here and none of these outputs were working, and none of these outputs were working, but all the inputs were working. Okay? Or it's this one and this one. So I thought, well, this one's working, so it must just be, this one's testing like that one. It must just be the way my meter is, my logic probe, I can't see it. Must need a scope or something. And this one's running off 100 volts, or negative 100 volts. So, you know, I must just not be able to use a logic probe on that. Nope. The chip's disabled because the blinking signal's missing. So since I thought that, though, I thought, well, let me try replacing one of these 6184s, because I had some, right? So I figured that'd be the first thing I do. I'll just put one in. So I put a socket in, and I swapped one. I kept the old chip, of course. And that didn't change a thing because that's not the problem. The problem is IC1, the blinking signal. That explains it. That's the only thing that's common to every single thing, to every display, right? It's got to be that blinking signal. All right, folks, so that got it. It was that one chip. So this one was just a shot in the dark, just a guess. That one was an educated guess. You know what I mean? So I figured that would probably do it. Player 3, looks like that glass is bad. I'll mess with it in the next video, but hey, it's been too long. Look, the sun's already came up. Whew. Been here for days working on this. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for filming this for you. We didn't have to do that, people. Give us a thumbs up. Come on now. And I hope to see you on the next video. Now, make sure to check out my brother Donnie's channel. Our brother has his own channel here. The link is down below. We work on arcade games, pinball machines, and jukeboxes. My brother Donnie works on old buildings. He has a farm, old vehicles, things like that. I'm over there with him on his channel a lot, so I will see you over there. But we'll see you back here in a couple days with the conclusion of this Lucky 7. We still got to do a little work, but it's coming along. I've got it booted. The boards are working, kind of. The displays are working, kind of. And we're ready to get flipping.